We assume the universe is a garden. We look up at the billions of stars in our galaxy and comfortably assume that life, complex, intelligent, curious life, is an inevitability of time. But the more we dig into the deep stone and the biological code, the more we realize that inevitability is a comfort lie we tell ourselves. In reality, you shouldn't be here. Your planet should be a dead, frozen rock. Your cells should be nothing more than mindless slime. To get from a cooling ball of magma to a human being holding a glowing screen, the Earth had to win 5 back-to-back lotteries where the odds were essentially zero. Today, we're exploring the 5 impossible keys to life. From the planetary collision that gave us a shield, to the great merger that created complex cells, to the terrifying realization that we might be the only ones who made it through the cosmic gauntlet.
To understand why Earth is alive, we first have to look at our neighbor, Mars. Mars is a graveyard. It is a world that had everything: water, atmosphere, warmth, and then lost it all because its heart stopped beating. Why did Earth's heart keep beating? The answer is buried in the dead planet we discovered in our last video. When the rogue planet Theia slammed into the early Earth, it didn't just give us a moon, it gave us a massive, hyper-dense injection of alien iron that sank directly into our core. That alien core created a roaring liquid metal dynamo that generates a massive, invisible magnetic shield. Without that violent, accidental collision 4.5 billion years ago, our atmosphere would have been stripped away by the solar wind eons ago. We would be Mars. We are protected by the ghost of a dead planet. But having a shield is useless if there is nothing inside it to protect. For 2 billion years, half the entire age of the planet, life on Earth was stuck. It was boring. It consisted of simple, single-celled organisms that refused to evolve. There was no reason for them to become complex, no reason to build eyes or wings or brains. And then a miracle happened, a once-in-a-universe accident that biologists call endosymbiosis. One simple cell tried to eat another, but it didn't digest it. Instead, the 2 cells formed a permanent, revolutionary partnership. The eaten cell became the mitochondria, the engine that powers every single complex organism on Earth today. This wasn't a slow step in evolution. This was a hostile takeover that turned into a merger. It only happened once in 4 billion years. If that single, microscopic fluke hadn't happened in a random puddle eons ago, the Earth would still be covered in nothing but green slime. You might think a stable, unmoving planet is the best place for life, but as we learned in our Mediterranean oven and Silurian journeys, a stable planet is a dead planet. Earth is the only planet we've found with active plate tectonics. This is our geological meat grinder, and while it deletes our history, it also saves our lives. Tectonics act as a global thermostat. By constantly subducting rock and burping out carbon dioxide through volcanoes, the Earth regulates its own temperature. Without this violent shifting conveyor belt of stone, the Earth would have either boiled away like Venus or frozen solid in a permanent snowball Earth. We live on a planet that is constantly trying to kill us, but the very mechanism of that destruction is the only reason the Goldilocks temperature remains stable.
Even with a shield and complex cells, life is fragile. We've seen how 98% of all species have already been deleted by extinctions. But the reason anything survived is because we have a silent bodyguard in the dark. Jupiter, the gas giant, is a gravitational vacuum cleaner. Because of its massive size, it sucks in or deflects the vast majority of planet-killer asteroids that would otherwise be hurtling toward Earth. Without Jupiter, Earth would be hit by an extinction-level event every few thousand years instead of every few million. Complex life like the mantis shrimp, with its hyper-specialized bullet strike and impossible eyes, needs millions of years of relative peace to evolve such high-end tools. We are the winners of a cosmic game of dodgeball, where the biggest kid in the class is standing in front of us, taking all the hits. The final key is perhaps the most ironic. We think of oxygen as the breath of life, but for the first inhabitants of Earth, it was a toxic, apocalyptic waste product. When the first bacteria started shitting oxygen into the atmosphere, they triggered the greatest mass extinction in history. They poisoned the world. But life did something impossible. Instead of dying out, it learned to burn that poison. Oxygen is a high-octane fuel. It allowed life to move faster, grow bigger, and develop the impossible biology we see in nature today, from the mantis shrimp's 16-color vision to the human brain. We are the descendants of the survivors who learned to breathe the apocalypse.
When you stack these lotteries, the Theia collision, the mitochondrial merger, the tectonic engine, the Jupiter shield, and the oxygen trap, the math starts to look terrifying. Is the universe full of life, or are we the only ones who managed to win 5 impossible lotteries in a row? We look up at the stars searching for them, but maybe the reason for the silence is that the gauntlet is simply too hard to run. If you've realized that your very existence is a miracle of deep time physics, hit the like button and join the Center for Curiosity. But knowing how lucky we are only raises one final chilling question. If it took 5 impossible keys to unlock the door to human civilization, how many keys are left before the door locks forever?